Now for a murder mystery.
Yeah, this Christmas, another Agatha Christie classic is reimagined, and it's scattered with stars and filled with intrigue.
And before we speak to one of those stars, Douglas Henshall, little bromance for you.
Shut up.
Let's take a little sneaky peek at what we can expect.
Perhaps you might happen to know what time Scotland Yard closes. I have to report murder.
She was talking of murders in her village, and now she's dead. Someone should go there.
Are you one of those men who never know when to leave well enough alone?
This village really is
A place where murder is easy.
And Douglas joins us now to tell us all about Murder is Easy. Good morning, Douglas.
Hiya.
Hello. I was just saying I love your waistcoat look.
Well, you look so
nice.
Look at him.
Svelte.
Stop. Like, you know I've got a man crush, so let's not start.
Can we just get it out there? Just, like, throw it out there. Bromance, man crush, done.
OK, so, Agatha Christie adaptation, Murder is Easy. It's one of those kind of... Like, we love Agatha Christie, don't we? Sort of brought up with it.
Yeah.
I don't know this story too well, though. Is it?
No, I mean, I think this is one of the slightly lesser-known Agatha Christie books, but, I mean, I think probably all the better for it that it suddenly gets, you know, brought to the fore, because it's certainly not a lesser story in terms of quality. It's, you know, it's a fabulous story.
Also, I think sometimes when you watch Murder on the Orient Express, you know what's going to happen.
You absolutely do.
There's only so many times you can watch it. You're never going to be surprised anymore.
You know, but I mean, I think the idea about Agatha Christie's or crime and whodunit in general is that someone or more than one person gets murdered and we have to find out who done it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's the
She
thing.
had such a fascinating life as well, didn't she?
Yeah, and it's such a Christmas tradition as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little Agatha Christie whodunit, you know, at Christmas time. It's traditional, it feels. What was it like on set? 'Cause it was a fantastic cast.
Oh, no, it was like a trip down memory lane for me, because there was so many actors that I'd worked with at so many different stages of my career. Catherine Howden, who plays one of the servants, I worked with her in the theatre back in the late 80s, early 90s, at the beginning of both of our careers. And then Sinead Matthews, who's fab young actress, I worked with her on her very first job in the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield, doing The Crucible, strangely enough. And then Tamsin Outhwaite I worked with years ago when she was, like, the queen of TV. Penelope Wilton I'd worked with before. Mark Bonner I've obviously spent, you know, 10 years in love with. But, you know, I didn't know David Johnson and I didn't know Morpeth Clark, those two terrific actors, and it was lovely to get to know them.
So, for those that don't know the story, Murder is Easy, tell us, it looks like it's set in a quintessential kind of British village, so what's the story?
Well, you know, there's a stranger kind of arrives in a typical furious English village in the 1950s, and, you know, people are... You know, there's different themes of class and race that kind of run through it. But people are being murdered. And, you know, somebody has to be our hero and find out who's doing these things, and David Johnson is our man.
And
So
what about your character?
yes, your character. Let's hear about Major Horton. What does he get up to?
First of all, he appears to be one thing, which is very possibly your ex kind of major from the Empire who suddenly sees a stranger arriving in his village and is very much like, you know, so you. But then, and you think one thing of him, and then he turns out to be something else altogether.
Which is quite nice.
Which is actually a good thing. And I have these two very, very sturdy English bulldogs that are my constant companions and bane of my life on set. Because bulldogs are like, they're so kind of chilled. It's just like, you know, is there any chicken around? And the guy who's got the chicken is behind the camera, and we really want the chicken, and I'm sick of sitting here looking at you. And I'm just like, please, will you just kind of relax? And they're like, can I just get some chicken? And, yeah, so, but that was slightly more testing, but no, great fun.
Your mum was a great Agatha Christie fan, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. That was one of the reasons why it was I was so delighted to get offered it is because my mother would have been thrilled at the idea of me doing Agatha Christie because, you know, I mean, I grew up with the Agatha Christie books, you know, the TV shows or the films whenever they were on, specifically around Christmas time, you know, and so I feel like, you know, Agatha Christie's been part of my life and my family's life. It's amazing, actually, when you think about how much power she has over the world's conscience, that when it comes to, like, murder stories, you immediately think of this extraordinary woman. You know?
So nostalgic.
Joan Hickson, who played Miss Marple on the BBC for so long, she lived in, like, a little village around the corner. And so our whole upbringing was kind of imbued, like, oh, my God, Joan Hickson's going to open the fate. And do you remember, it was only, like, 4 channels or 3 channels at the time. So when Agatha Christie, when Miss Marple came on, everything stopped.
Yes.
Great stuff.
Absolutely. What about your daughter? What does she make of your new role?
You just made me think of her there, actually, because I was trying to explain Christmas films to her the other day, and because we were talking about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Oliver and Agatha Christie, I was saying, you know, I was doing this thing that was going to be on over Christmas, and she said, but they've got nothing to do with Christmas. And I said, no, but that's not the point, because the only time that you got to see these films back in the day when I was young was they only came on at Christmas. And so that's how they became associated and became known as being Christmas films. Yeah. But she couldn't get her head around
Show the
that
Great
idea
Escape, she'll be bewildered.
because she's got, you know, her Netflix and her Disney, and then she can just scroll and pick out whatever she wants to watch.
Douglas, you seem to be in such a lovely spot in your career. You've come off Shetland, which obviously took over such a big part of your life for so long. Is it lovely now just being able to do these different projects and, you know, like you said, playing English upper class, like...
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I never get offered Major Hortons. And I think there was a few kind of slightly worried people, you know, kind of going, does he do that? Can he do that?
Very British.
You know, because I've been playing grumpy, you know, slightly depressed Scottish policeman for so long. And so, yes, it is. It's and much as I adored that particular phase of my work, it's lovely to be able to go and do different things,
Well, good luck, man.
Cheers.
Cannot wait to be hunkered down on the 27th of December in my PJs watching that.
Yes. God, it's Tweenmas. I love Tweenmas. You know,
it's going to be so
between
good.
Christmas and New Year.
Yes, exactly. All of the chocolate.
27th, Murder is Easy, BBC One and iPlayer on the 27th at 9.
Yeah.
Thanks, Douglas.
Thank you.
Pleasure.